two speakers are going to be presenting on Partnership for Forests. I'm pleased to introduce you to, firstly, Feka Tadezi, who is the Regional Programme Manager for Partners for Forests. She has basically been with them, she manages the East Africa portfolio across 5 countries, and she has over 10 years of experience in sustainable land use, access to finance, and also to food security. She'll be joined by Dr. Amos Guillot, who's the Regional Manager for West and Central Africa for Partnership for Forests. He basically leads the management of the regional team, implementation of the programme's regional strategy, work plan and budget to achieve the regional targets. He holds a PhD in agribusiness from the University of Gauteng and an interest in agriculture, forestry and rural development issues. In particular, he's known for designing capacity development strategies for countries and value chain intervention strategies for agriculture and forest-related products. Would you mind joining me both on stage, please? Thank you. Do apologise.
No, you'll join me afterwards, yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We will be co-presenting on the Partnerships for Forests program, specifically on developing private sector partnerships towards forest protection and restoration. I'll give a bit of an introduction on the program itself, where we work, our portfolio, and then on the East and West and Central Africa portfolios, respectively. So Partnerships for Forests is a program, a UK government FCDO-funded program, and the objective of this program is to catalyze investment into regenerative businesses. So essentially what these mean are business models that either contribute to forest protection or sustainable land use practices. It's an 8-year grant and technical assistance program. We work globally across the tropical belt. So we have projects in Latin America, in Brazil, Colombia, and Peru, West and Central Africa, East Africa and Southeast Asia, in Indonesia specifically. To date, some of our impact is 2.2 million hectares under sustainable land use, 265 million pounds mobilized in private investment, as well as close to, actually now, 200,000 livelihoods impacted across these countries that we work in. So in terms of, just to give you a flavor of the commodities that we work in, so just coffee, for example, in East Africa, cocoa in West and Central Africa, as well as some unique ones like Brazil nuts in Latin America, as well as acai in Colombia. So when it comes to East Africa, so when we started this program, the first thing that we did was try and identify the key drivers of deforestation in the region. And these drivers are unique to all of the regions that we work in. And in East Africa, we found that there are essentially 3 drivers of deforestation. First one being smallholders encroaching into natural forests in search for additional agricultural land. That's the predominant one, I would say. The second is demand for wood fuel and charcoal across rural and urban landscapes. And the third, and this is not so relevant in East Africa at the moment, but we anticipate this to be a big threat in the future, commercial monoculture plantation and expansion leading to expansion into forests. So based on this initial analysis, we came up with a three-pronged strategy to help us combat these drivers of deforestation. So in our selection of businesses that we support, we focus on three levers, essentially. One is increasing the value of standing forests. So this is essentially focusing on non-timber forest products, like, for example, I'll go into it in a minute, but forest coffee in Ethiopia is a value chain that we work in. We also work on integrated landscape approaches. So this is essentially where we try and work on regenerative agriculture on farms, but at the same time focusing on protection of forests in that landscape, and also introducing restoration activities where we can. Also, we work on reducing demand for unsustainable wood fuel. And this, again, we support, again, I'll get into it in a minute, but companies that produce timber sustainably so as to reduce the pressure on natural forests. So just to give you a flavor of the different type of projects that we support, and just before I go into the examples, essentially how we support these businesses is we provide them with grants to help them grow their businesses. So, if they have a business plan, we support their pilot. If they have a pilot or work on the ground already, we help scale up. And the idea is that they will graduate from our incubation program and are able to attract commercial investment on their own. So a good example of this is actually Kamaza, a forestry organization, a forestry company in Kenya that works with smallholders. They provide them with tree seedlings. Farmers grow these trees, sell it back to Kamaza. Kamaza then processes it and sells it on the market. It's a vertically integrated model. And they've now been able to raise more than 70 million pounds in investment. Another example, and this is more on the integrated landscape category, we're working with Lush Cosmetics and their subsidiary company in northern Uganda, Lumalum. And essentially, what they're doing is working with their partner farmers. They call them their partner farmers. And they help them grow cocoa, but at the same time integrate agroforestry practices. And they buy back the cocoa from these farmers. And in this model, we've also integrated protection of forest reserves that are nearby their farms. The Forest Coffee Project in Ethiopia, this is more of a conservation project. So coffee grows wild in forests in Ethiopia. It's the only place where it grows wild in forests. And what we've done with this project is supported the cooperatives there or the participatory forest management groups in quality processing and also accessing international markets, so that if these smallholders are able to get higher prices from the coffee, they're more incentivized to protect the forests. And then another great example of a project that we're working with, it's New Forests. New Forests is an investment manager focused on nature-based assets, including natural and plantation forests. And they're developing a fund to catalyze investment into sustainable land use management in sub-Saharan Africa. And they recently launched the Africa Forest Investment Platform. And essentially, this is probably the biggest investment now coming into the forestry sector in Africa. And yeah, it's very exciting because it's essentially mobilizing a fund with adequate scale to overcome this big challenge of deforestation on the continent. And it's investing in a landscape around commercial forestry. So essentially, how we are working with the New Forests is We are supporting them to come up with a more holistic model of investing into landscapes. So instead of just focusing on core assets or the plantations, we are trying to create a model whereby smallholders living around these assets are included in this kind of investment model. Also, the landscapes around these plantations are included or protected, right? So to date, they have just been able to raise $200 million. Again, the largest and most significant investment going into the sector. And they will be raising another round that will take them up to $500 million. So just to wrap up, why we're excited about this partnership with the New Forests, we feel our partnership, given our expertise in the forestry sector, will create transformational change in the sector. Transformational because we are developing this very different and unique model of working with investment managers as well as plantations by creating this inclusive model of benefits to smallholders as well as the environment surrounding these assets. And it's also innovative and hopefully sustainable in the long run. I will stop here and invite my colleague to go over the West and Central Africa portfolio.
Great, thanks. Okay, great. Thanks, Feka. My name is Henrietta Asiedu. I'm representing on behalf of Dr. Amos Joe for West and Central Africa. So basically, there exist opportunities in West and Central Africa, especially where majority of Africa's tropical forests exist. And also, both regions account for about 8% of forests in the world and 25% of global tropical forests. But how is P4F helping this? The challenges has to do with the loss of biodiversity and forests and unsustainable practices within the region. And P4F is supporting to reverse this trend by leveraging on private sector investment in commodities around cocoa, coffee, like my colleague initially stated, and then oil palm, and we're looking at scaling to commodities like rubber and timber value chains. So for challenges within the region, basically, we have three main ones, which is expansion in agriculture, and then wildfire, and then illegal logging. For West and Central Africa, our approach mainly has been in three thematic areas. The first being greening supply chains, where we partner with companies in cocoa and oil palm, for instance, Olam, which is a cocoa company, and Tuton, to be able to green their supply chain and free it from deforestation. And also the second thematic area is restoring landscape, where we've worked with Form International to be able to restore degraded forest areas and also integrate food crops within the landscape. The third approach, which is of utmost importance to us as well, is the landscape governance model, and I'll be delving more into it on a case study basis. Currently, the region has been able to incubate about 18 forest partnerships and 4 enabling conditions. These 4 enabling conditions include the Cocoa and Forest Initiative, the African Oil Palm Initiative, and currently we're scaling the Cocoa and Forest Initiative into regions like Nigeria and then in Cameroon. This is a geographic focus of where we work. The brown shaded area are areas where we currently operate in. This includes Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, and Sierra Leone, and then Liberia. And we're looking forward to scaling to Congo DRC. Basically, commodities that we're currently working on are cocoa and oil palm. But in the expansion phase, we're looking at commodities like rubber, cashew, also integrated non-timber forest products, and also the buy-end products from agribusiness. Now, this is a case study of a project we implemented with Olam and then Rainforest Alliance. It's a landscape governance model where we supported Olam to be able to green its supply chain freeing it of deforestation, and getting more productivity levels from farmers, and be able to restore degraded areas within the landscape where these farmers grow their cocoa. So this is, on my right is the landscape governance structure. The structure includes the high level, for instance, the Forest Commission of Ghana, the Cocoa Board, and also we have licensed buying cocoa companies also within the structure, as well as the district assemblies being part of the structure. In there, we have 2 community representatives on that board who serve the interests of the downstream communities, where we have about 23 clusters from 107 communities. And basically, the aim of this landscape governance model is to share a vision and see how the landscape will manage sustainably to ensure commodities produced there are sustainable, certified, and high productivity. So for 4 years, P4F, or Partnership for Forests, through UK Aid, has supported this project. This landscape is home to around 50,000 smallholder farmers. And based on our support, key achievements within this project is that farmers have been mapped into a farmer identification system where the cocoa they produce is being sourced and is ensured it's produced sustainably, and therefore Olam is getting high premium for the cocoa that they sell, which is certified coming from the landscape. The other thing is 2 main landscape governance board has been set up within the landscape. This landscape is a high biodiversity area, it's a hotspot intervention area, and the World Bank is working also within that area to ensure that carbon emitted within that area, farmers receive payment for undertaking agroforestry activities for sustainable cocoa produced. Now, the project has mobilized investments and produced or ensured that communities have benefits to the project. An amount of 108 million has been invested, not only by Olam, but also by cocoa companies operating and sourcing within this landscape. 6,000 farmers are receiving premium aside from the cocoa they sell to government to ensure that they are able to feed their families and be able to take care of other activities within their area. Out of this 6,000, 45% are women, and I was happy that we were talking about women before our presentation, and 55 are men. But how did they come about achieving this investment? Basically through farms under agroforestry, and also producing cocoa in a sustainable way and restoring landscape within that area that has been highly degraded. Also, innovative traceability system, as initially mentioned, has also been put in place, and currently we have a little over 124 hectares under sustainable management. And we are excited to share these achievements with you and the lessons we've learned so far. The most important thing here is public-private finance is important for commodities operating in a landscape where there is high loss of biodiversity. And therefore, when investment is pooled within this landscape, you would see in the long run that companies see this interest because they are selling cocoa to their clients. There is more investment on how cocoa is being produced sustainably and being certified, and farmers are happy because there are high premiums coming for producing in a sustainable way. The third lesson for us is to be able to undertake landscape governance model to ensure there is investment within the landscape. There is the need to have agroforestry-based products for these farmers. These farmers are protecting nearby forests, and therefore, as complementary efforts to protecting the forest, we provide them with enterprises like beekeeping to be able to enhance and protect the landscape where they operate. And the third one, which we're currently piloting, also with support from South Pole, which is a carbon company, is that for a long-term commitment from communities and farmers producing cocoa, there is the need to create a landscape governance fund or an investment fund for them, in the sense that currently we have the Ghana Cocoa and Forest Red Plus program in place, where the World Bank is paying the government for reducing emissions coming from the landscape, and the communities are getting a fair share of this benefit. Thank you very much, and I'll tell you that the work still continues.